in the era of COVID-19 in the Cayman Islands, so many things are occurring. I just want to give you the update for Friday in relation to the results, and I believe that there were some 437 COVID-19 tests carried out since the last report. So this came in on Friday, and they were all negative. So we're tracking correctly. We're on the right track. We want to continue that way, and we will continue to be successful if the residents, the inhabitants of the Cayman Islands do as they're told, follow all of the instructions in terms of physical distancing, sanitizing processes, as well as ensuring that you wear your face mask. So with COVID-19, we have seen many businesses, public sector as well, having to adjust their operations as a result of the regulations that have been issued by the government of the Cayman Islands. And we're going to be talking about the Customs Department this morning, Customs and Border Control. We're going to be talking about their imports, what the position is with imports in the Cayman Islands at this point in time. That conversation is going to take place with the director of CBC, Mr. Charles Clifford, and his deputy, Mr. Kevin Walton. Gentlemen, good morning. Welcome back to For the Record.
Thank you very much, Mr. Connor. Good morning to you, and good morning to your listeners and those watching us on social media. We've come here this morning to talk about the unprecedented level of imports that we've seen in recent times since the COVID-19 pandemic. As you've already indicated, I have Mr. Walton with me, who's one of our deputies, and he has portfolio responsibility for trade and revenue. So we're going to get into some of the issues we've encountered since we've seen this unprecedented increase in imports. There have been some delays as a result of the volume, but there are other reasons for the delays, and we'll get into that in more detail as the morning goes on. But in addition to the increase, some of the delays are down to importers producing inadequate documentation. So that's part of the issue, and Mr. Walton can speak in more detail to that. There have also been, I think, what we could term a large number of clerical errors by importers, which also delays the clearance of goods. But I also want to say that it is important for the public to remember that the Customs and Border Control Service is not just a revenue collection agency. We are a border control agency, and so we have an obligation as a matter of law to make sure that we scrutinize documentation, imports, etc., really carefully. We have in the past, as you know, encountered firearms, drugs, and other types of contraband coming via imports. So it is important that we recognize that fact as well, and we can't not take that into consideration when we're processing goods. We've also had an issue where some of the companies have exceeded their bonds with us. So they have bonds with the Customs Department, and that bond is set up to secure the government's revenue. If they exceed those bonds, then it becomes an issue, and they need to top up essentially the bonds or pay the import duty. Some of them have had delays in doing so, and as a result, we have had to address that. That has also delayed the release of some imports. I'm not going to get into naming any companies. I don't think that's right at this stage. We try to maintain a very cordial relationship with all of our customers, including the companies. But it's not fair to our officers on the front line who work very, very hard every single day to clear the thousands of goods imports coming into the country to be subjected to criticism because of mistakes that are made somewhere else.
And being made the scapegoat as well.
Yes. So what often happens is that the companies will simply say to their customers, Customs is holding your goods, without telling them why. And that's where I think the unfairness come in, because our officers are working really, really hard to clear these imports as quickly as they can while doing their jobs at the same time from a border control perspective. So we're not going to get into calling names, but I just wanted to say that is not something that, as director, I'm prepared to sit down and just tolerate indefinitely. If it comes to the point where we have to name companies, then we will do so. There was an occasion in the past where we had a similar situation, and we had to actually issue a press release because a fairly large number of imports have been impacted. We don't want to have to do that, but I'm just mentioning it because it's important to mention it, because it is an issue sometimes, and we don't want it to be a regular issue.
Yep. Mr. Walton?
Hi, good morning, OC.
Good morning.
Thanks for having me on the show. Good morning to the listening public. Just an extension to what the director said far as blaming customs. If you go on, for example, when you're tracking goods coming via courier, and I must say that courier is just one way of importing goods. There are many other companies out there as well, consolidators, as well as you can import it yourself. When you go online and you check the tracking of your package, it would say held in customs, but that's not necessarily so. It says held in customs, but the goods could actually be released to the courier companies and in their possession before they're delivered. So when persons see that held in customs, they think it's actually held in customs. Yeah, and I want to make it clear that the courier companies have bonds with customs, and once we are satisfied, we give them what you call a provisional release, and the goods actually go in their possession. It's then for them to then pay the duties and make sure that they keep top up with customs and border control, and then they can deliver their goods. But there are several factors that actually delay the process. But I would like to just start by giving you some background on what has happened this year so far.
Sure.
Yeah, I'll just give you, as it relates to imports, I'll start in January. In January, we're just shy of 14,000 imports. The same was in February. And in March, it actually dropped a bit. It had 13,500 and change. And then in April, I had November in the back of my mind. I can't wait for some vacation here. And then in April, we saw the drop where the COVID-19 actually started to have an impact. Was 9,000 imports. Yeah. And then in March, we then saw it start to go back up to 13,000 imports in March. And last month...
In May.
In May, yeah. In May, 13,000 imports. And then in June, we topped 18,000 imports. Wow. And I must say, as of Friday, when I provide the statistics, where in July, in 1 week, we are already gone 5,000 imports. And you have to understand that those imports, when we talk about individual imports, we're not talking about the amount of goods that are in those imports. You know, one container can consist of a lot of goods. Okay. And when you shipping through a courier or you're shipping through a consolidator, you have to understand that it's not just your shipment in there. You could have up to 300 different individual shipments. And each one of those shipments has to clear our processes before the entire container or the entire shipment is released. So it's very important that compliance is adhered to. We have had challenges in the past with compliance, local compliance, which still exists. Matter of fact, in shipments, some shipments, up to 40% of the goods that arrive, there's no invoice or there's not a value for the goods. So we just can't release those goods to you. Right. Yeah. And in the whole mix of things, we are also trying to protect our borders, as the director has said. And now what has happened is we have some new companies, shipping companies coming online out of the U.S. Yeah. They ship in the U.S. They're accustomed to doing that. And then tomorrow morning they get up and say, let's ship international. And they don't understand there's a different feel out there. There's international conventions. There's compliance levels that they have to meet. And one particular shipping company that we have coming in here that a lot of people tend to use, and that company when those goods come, we have no alternative but to basically check every import for them, because they're either over on what they have declared, and you as the importer could be paying more duties than you should, or it is actually less. And so we have to be very careful in how we clear those processes. But in all, the first thing that you need to do as an importer, you have responsibilities as well. It's not just the courier company, your agent, or the consolidating company. You have to appoint them as an agent. We can't allow them to clear your goods on your behalf without you legally appointing them as an agent. So you have a responsibility to fill out those appointment of agent forms. Provide that to your agent, as well as your identification, may it be driver's license, passports, whatever. I got to talk a little bit more about the system and how we advance it as we go along after the break.
Okay, we're going to take a commercial break, folks. Please stay tuned. The conversation with the Director of Customs and Border Control, Mr. Charles Clifford, and one of his deputies, Mr. Kevin Walton, will continue after this short commercial break.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Historical Vignette Series, brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Cayman Islands, He hath founded it upon the seas.
Captain Harris L. Bodden.
CPM 1888 to 1972.
Like most early Caymanians, Captain Harris sought a livelihood on the high seas, completing his years there as a master mariner. In 1926, he retired from sea and, with a young family to provide for, became a police officer. For most of his career, he was the lone law officer on Cayman Brac. During his many years of service, in addition to keeping the peace, Captain Harris served as customs officer, postmaster for the eastern sections of Cayman Brac, bailiff, prison officer and guard, census taker, and lighthouse keeper, in all of which he was ably supported by his wife, Miss Ella Nee Jackson, and their 6 children. In the absence of a police car, he carried out his patrols on a bicycle. During the aftermath of the 1932 hurricane, he distributed overseas donations of food, clothing, and medication, and arranged burials for the dead. Captain Harris was a man of stature who carried himself with authority, yet dispensed justice with kindness, sympathy, and wisdom.
Radio Cayman's Historical Vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
Now more than ever, we need safe spaces for healing and reflection. Rotary Central supports our National Gallery in its noble efforts to provide access to the arts, an opportunity for all the family to learn history, ignite creativity, experience Caymanian heritage, glimpse the wider dimension of our humanity. Join us at the National Gallery as we reopen to the public Wednesday, July 15th in full compliance with safe distancing and best practice requirements. You will see the Island of Women exhibit, featuring 26 local artists exploring invaluable contributions that women have made to the Cayman Islands. You will view the remarkable Bendel Heights Acquisition Showcase. Bendel is our Picasso. You will view Salt Water in Their Veins, a new exhibition that explores Cayman's evolving relationship to the ocean, featuring 45 local artists. Book your visit in advance to avoid waiting for entry. Call 945-8111. Rotary Central and the National Gallery, supporting wellness and healing. Rotary opens opportunities.
Recent worldwide events bring into focus the need for quality health care. Your life is meaningful. Your health is no laughing matter. Cayman Pharmacy Group strives to make your health their concern. Recognizing the complexities of pharmaceuticals and the need to personalize your care with one-on-one counseling. West Bay Pharmacy, Savannah Pharmacy, and CTMH Doctors Hospital Pharmacy. Convenient quality care is just around the corner. Visit CaymanPharmacy.com for more information. Cayman Pharmacy Group, taking care of your health.
Fidelity Bank would like to thank all essential workers. We salute your efforts and thank you for the sacrifices you've made to keep us all safe. During these challenging times we're facing, our top priority is the health and safety of the communities we serve. And while it's true that things are changing rapidly every day, one thing that will never change is our commitment to giving you the best and sound financial solutions to help you during and after the coronavirus pandemic. At Fidelity Bank, our focus will always be you. Fidelity, we're good for you.
We all know there's nothing more refreshing than the taste of an ice-cold Coca-Cola straight from the cooler.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling.
Whether we're celebrating a birthday, promotion, or just a great meal, make each moment a Coca-Cola moment.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling.
Available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga Distributors. Make sure you ask for the unforgettable flavor of a classic Coca-Cola.
You've spent a lot of time with your kitchen appliances lately. Did you realize just how old or out of date they really are? If you're thinking of upgrading or replacing your old kitchen appliances, there is only one place to go: Brand Source Home Gallery. They're having a 15% off sale on GE appliances this month. That's right, save 15% off on all GE appliances now through the end of July. You will love the savings and the look of your fresh new appliances from Brand Source Home Gallery in Industrial Park on Dorsey Drive. Call 623-5000 for more information.
The Toyotathon 2020 event is going on now at Vamped Motors. Get our lowest prices of the year on a great selection of our most popular Toyotas, with big savings on the new CHR Hybrid, the 7-seater Rush, the adventurous RAV4, the rugged Hilux truck, and more. You can drive home an amazing deal. Save up to $5,000. Take the full discount, get cash back, upgrade your vehicle with your savings. It's all your choice during our huge Toyotathon sales event going on through July. Don't miss out. Come to Vamped Motors for your new Toyota. Let's go places.
System 1 loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record.
This is For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We're talking about the unprecedented, record-breaking number of imports that we're seeing in the Cayman Islands. That conversation is taking place with the Director of Customs and Border Control, Mr. Charles Clifford, and his Deputy, Mr. Kevin Walton. I believe we have a caller, Ms. Susan. Let's take that caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, O.C.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
And your panel, I'm fine. Sorry, I just have a simple question, but all I can get is machines and I dial phone numbers.
Okay.
Can the panel answer whether, and I sympathize with all the work apparently that has mushroomed, but anyway, just want to find out, is it correct that musical instruments are duty-free? All musical instruments, or is it in a reservation?
Okay. Yes.
I've been trying to find that out from some time now.
Yes. Musical instruments are duty-free. If you go on a website, you'll find our tariff law, but you can also download, and you will be able to search the tariff in the goods that you would want to know. In addition to that, on our online codes system, we have a broken down, more layman terms tariff, so you could go inside there and click in and actually search for the item.
Okay, thank you. Just for one item I'm thinking of, and for a church especially. So that would be duty-free.
Yes. When you import it as a whole, for example, you bring in a guitar and you bring it in the amplifier and everything, and it's a one package, that's duty-free. But be mindful, if you bring the goods in, the amplifier by itself, it could be dutiable.
It's not really an amplifier, it's just a keyboard.
Yes, that qualifies duty-free.
Thank you very much, sir, and I sympathize with all the hard work you all are having to contend with.
Yes,
Thank you, sir.
thanks for calling.
Thank you very much.
Okay. So, Mr. Walton, we have about 5 minutes before we go to our 8 o'clock news. And I'd like you to walk me through the system with me as an importer. I believe that based on anecdotal evidence, talking to some of my friends who order things online, we're seeing more and more people choosing to do it themselves, have it forwarded, sent to either a freight forwarder or, say, for instance, Cayman Airways, which we understand now that they have unprecedented levels in terms of the amount of cargo that they're receiving as well. I spoke to someone there on Friday or Saturday, and they are averaging something like about 3,000 packages per day.
Yes, and that's true. Yeah. And I just want to say that our transit shade has reached a level beyond capacity, and we are encouraging the public who import goods via air to please clear your imports as soon as possible and collect them immediately because we need space. I think on Friday we had 2 freighters that arrived with cargo via air. But to answer your question,
so I, if I may for a second, so I said to my importer, the person who was sending it to me, send it to Cayman Airways, gave him the address for Cayman Airways in Miami, called them, got the details from them in terms of what should be put on that package to know that it is who is destined to in the Cayman Islands. I said to him, ensure that you put invoices, receipts inside the package, as well as email me them so that I can have copies here myself. Did I do that correctly?
Yes, you sound like an expert. Importing goods yourself, to be honest with you, we encourage that because individual imports, when you're not in a consolidated shipment, gets cleared a lot faster. Yes. I know of individual imports within an hour or two, they're cleared and persons are out there. The first thing you need to do is to register online as an individual importer, business, or company. You log on to our codes, go on to cbc.gov.ky, and you go into codes and you enter there. You see pre-register. You click that, you go in, and you register yourself as an individual. You select yourself as an individual. Right. It takes a matter of probably 2 minutes.
Okay.
You put your full name, address, contact details, scan your driver's license color, preferred again, passport, and upload it.
Just got mine renewed.
Yes, and we are encouraging you to at least do that registration 48 hours prior to your goods coming. All too often, persons wait till their goods come in and then they try to register. Be mindful that we have a lot of persons who are now registering online new.
So you have to process those registrations?
Yes, we have to process those.
But it is a one-time registration, so you don't have to register every time you bring it.
Got you.
Yes, so once you register as an individual, you use that TIN number, which is Trader Identification Number. That is unique to yourself. Use the email address, because that email address then becomes your signature. It becomes for you. Yes. You can't use that same email address again. That's unique. Once you do the registration online to us, you said you have provided all your invoices as far as in your box, but it's very important that you have them,
right?
Because everything is remote now. We ask for supplier's invoice, sales invoice. We have companies that use commercial invoices, which are fine, but no system-generated commercial invoices. Some courier companies would allow you to actually go on there and generate your own invoice. we don't.
There are inherent problems with that.
So we don't allow that. You then, once your goods arrive, you get your shipping documents from your airlines. In this case, you would be Cayman Airways. You take all that invoice, that physical document, you go into our system, you complete it electronically, and you scan and upload your invoices along with your area bill. Submit it to customs. Yeah. Once you submit to customs, you will have a dashboard and you'll have your email as well. The system, once we complete the declaration, you'll get a notification say payment is awaiting payment. At this time, we don't have the online system ready for payments because we're billing our systems out in phases. Mm-hmm. And you hit our office and you make your payment. Because of the COVID-19, it's a little longer wait now because we're only allowing like 5 persons in our office at a time. Mm-hmm. We have certain restrictions there. But normally that process only take 15 to half an hour once everything is fine. I'm going
to have to interrupt you there. We reached the 8 o'clock news, but very important discussion taking place. Folks, please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back immediately after the 8 o'clock news. Sorry about that.
And studio time now is 8 o'clock, brought to you by Foster's.
At Foster's, you can save big on your groceries.
This week we have Essential Everyday Almond Milk, $3.99 each. Save $1.30. Colgate Optic White Toothpaste, $3.49 each. Save up to $5.50. And Ocean Spray Juices, 4 for $5. Save $1.76 on 4.
Price is good July 9th to the 22nd, 2020. For more big savings, pick up our weekly specials flyer in-store or visit fosters.ky. Foster's. Better prices because we care.
The 8 a.m. News is proudly sponsored by the Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. For further information, please visit chamberpension.ky. The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. We're here for you. Did you know that with the COVID-19 Emergency Withdrawal Program, we reviewed over 12,000 member applications in May, approved over 8,000 applications, and paid over CI $90 million to our members from June 12th onwards? We are the Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan, and we're here for you. For further information regarding the Emergency Withdrawal Program, visit chamberpension.ky, and for information as it happens, follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, or Instagram. Email admin@pensions.ky or call 745-7630.
Your voice, your choice for today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
With your latest news, I'm Carsley Fuller. Cayman sees its first sightings of the stony coral tissue loss disease, a new lethal coral infection affecting more than 20 species of stony coral reefs across the Caribbean. The Department of Environment says they spotted the disease for the first time back in June at the north coast of Grand Cayman. After making a site visit, the DOE says, unfortunately, without a known pathogen, it's impossible to confirm any diagnosis. However, the species, symptoms, and rapid mortality rates resemble those seen in Florida and other parts of the Caribbean. The DOE is asking divers and snorkelers to help reduce their likelihood of transferring the disease and slow the spread, which gives reefs more time to adapt by practicing proper buoyancy when diving, avoiding touching marine organisms, sanitizing equipment between dives and after each dive excursion. You're also encouraged to report any sightings directly to Tammy, TAMMI, .warrender, WARRENDER, @gov.ky. And Mango Monday was such a huge hit that organizers are thinking of holding another. Lydia Ray, owner of Powder Monkey Gourmet Treats, says they're in talks trying to figure it out.
How do we go forward from here? How do we keep that momentum going? Part of the success of it was the fact that it was on a public holiday. And because it was on a public holiday, you have more of an audience, or, who would come out and participate. And then the market is bigger on a Saturday because we tend to have the people who already have their booths there. So it's just to figure out the logistics of, okay, when we do something like this again, how do we position it? How do we go about it? How do we go about including many different products and vendors and farmers? And how are we able to capture an audience?
Powder Monkey Gourmet Treats partnered with the Farmers and Artisans Retail Market to bring the concept of skin to seed to life, using mangoes to do this. The special market day was held at the market at the Cricket Grounds on July 6th, branded as Mango Monday. It introduced the public to the Skin to Seed initiative, a concept developed by the brand to address the economic challenges brought on by the pandemic, utilize the bumper crop of mangoes in the Cayman Islands this season, reduce food wastage, and to connect consumers, artisans, retailers, and farmers with each other. The Skin to Seed program shows how all parts of a fruit can be used, from the skin to the seed, at every stage of life of the fruit. The concept also further demonstrates how the various industries are utilizing all part of the plant to make innovative products. Now, with a check of international news, here's the BBC, which will take us out of the newscast. I'm Karsley Fuller from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
BBC News with Jerry Smith. China has announced retaliatory sanctions against senior US politicians who've made outspoken criticisms of his record on human rights in Xinjiang. Marco Rubio and Ted Cruz, both Republican senators, are among those targeted. At least 10 people have been killed and dozens wounded in a Taliban attack in northern Afghanistan. A powerful bomb blast hit near a district intelligence building in Samangan province. The Court of Arbitration for Sport has overturned a 2-year ban on European football imposed on Manchester City. It ruled the English Premiership club had not disguised sponsorship funds in an effort to evade financial fair play regulations. Nearly 90 millionaires from 7 countries have called on governments around the world to increase taxes on the very wealthiest to support an economic recovery from coronavirus. They warn that the pandemic could push another 500 million people into poverty. Andrzej Duda has been re-elected president of Poland, beating the more liberal Warsaw mayor Rafał Trzaskowski by a 2.4% margin. Mr. Duda is an ally of the governing Law and Justice Party. He campaigned on a socially conservative platform. A funeral for the mayor of the South Korean capital Seoul, who was found dead last week, has gone ahead despite a large online petition against the 5-day ceremony. Park Won-soon, one of the country's most influential leaders, apparently took his own life a day after a former secretary accused him of sexual harassment. The Palestinian Security Service has briefly detained a popular local singer for breaking coronavirus restrictions and performing at a wedding party. Ayman al-Sabwami was arrested in Hebron in the West Bank on Sunday after his performance at an event was broadcast live on his social media page. BBC News.
The 8 a.m. news is proudly sponsored by the Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. For further information, please visit chamberpension.ky. The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. We're here for you. Did you know that with the COVID-19 Emergency Withdrawal Program, we reviewed over 12,000 member applications in May, approved over 8,000 applications, and paid over CI 90 million to our members from June 12th onwards? We are the Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan, and we're here for you. For further information regarding the Emergency Withdrawal Program, visit chamberpension.ky, and for information as it happens, follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, or Instagram. Email admin@pensions.ky or call 745-7630.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman for the latest in news and information.
Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, www.radiocayman.gov.ky.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
Mommy, have you been taking your medication? No, I think I forgot to pick it up. Your doctor prescribed it for a reason, so you should be taking it regularly. I know, TD. Thanks for the reminder.
If you are elderly or vulnerable and need your prescription delivered to your home, contact the Health Services Authority Pharmacy at 949-8600. Taking your medication when prescribed is important to your health, and your health matters to us. For more information about our pharmacy hours and locations, visit hsa.ky. or call 949-8600.
Stop the spread of coronavirus by washing your hands with soap frequently. If none is available, use an alcohol-based hand sanitizer. Stay at home whenever you can. Avoid close contact with people outside your household by staying a minimum of 6 feet apart and wear a mask while in public. For more information, go to www.gov.ky/coronavirus.
The Weather Report is proudly sponsored by Super Stitch Sewing and Fabric Center, your one-stop household store at 39 Pasador Place, Smith Road. Still offering the best prices in town. Call 949-2833 or go to superstitch.com.ky.
New stock has just arrived at Super Stitch. Now don't take my word for it, drop by and see for yourself. Fresh off the boat, we have loads of fabric, vinyl upholstery fabric, fabric for cushions, outdoor fabrics, and dress fabric. That's not all. Super Stitch has sewing accessories and craft items. Included in the new shipment, you will find sheets, comforters, throw pillows, bath mats, rugs, and curtains for every room in your home. Super Stitch, 39 Pasador Place, Smith Road. Still offering the best price in town. Call 949-2833 or go to superstitch.com.ky.
A pleasant good morning. Let's take a look at the latest weather report. Current temperature is 83 degrees. Relative humidity is 85%. Barometric pressure 29.98 inches and rising. The winds are variable, less than 5 knots. Overnight low temperature was 77 degrees. Synopsis indicated decrease in cloudiness and showers along with light easterly winds are expected over the Cayman area for the next 24 hours. As a tropical wave continues to move west and away from the Cayman Islands. Further east, another tropical wave currently over the central Caribbean is moving west at 10 knots. Is expected to move into the northwest Caribbean Tuesday afternoon. Radar images show no showers over the Cayman area this time. Now the forecast for today calling for mostly sunny skies with a 20% chance of showers, and temperatures will be in the upper 80s. Your winds will be east to southeast at 5 to 10 knots, and seas will be slight with wave heights of 1 to 3 feet. And the forecast for tonight calling for partly cloudy skies with a 30% chance of showers. Tonight, temperatures falling to the low 80s. Your winds will be east to northeast at 5 to 10 knots, and seas will be slight with wave heights of 1 to 3 feet. Low tide will be this morning at 10:34, high tide this evening at 3 minutes past 6, and a low tide again tonight at 11:59. The sun will set this evening at 6 minutes past 7 and will rise tomorrow morning at 5:56. And the outlook is calling for a slight increase in cloudiness and showers as a tropical wave is expected to slowly move across the Cayman area by tomorrow afternoon. That's the very latest on your weather report.
Super Stitch Sewing and Fabric Center was the proud sponsor of the Weather Report, your one-stop shop for all of your household items, craft items, jewelry, beads, and decorations, and much more. Call Super Stitch at 949-2833 or email customer care at superstitch.com.ky.
Super Stitch. We are known for our amazing fabrics, top quality tailoring, and dressmaking. But did you know that we also carry trimmings, glitter, sequins, acrylic paints for fabrics and craft, floral wire, glues, markers, foam balls, and assorted ribbons? Yes, we do. You have a do-it-yourself project? Just pop into Super Stitch and see what we have in store for you. There is a craft item for your every need.
My favorite, the beads, glass ones, flat, and even those shell ones.
Super Stitch, your one-stop household store at 39 Pasadora Place, Smith Road, still offering the best prices in town. Call 949-2833 or go to superstitch.com.ky.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
Our subs made your way with multiple ordering and delivery options. Subway is making it easy for you to enjoy your favorite sandwiches, pizzas, and salads by offering delivery until 10 p.m. from West Bay to Bordentown. $5 delivery fee, no minimum order. Call the Subway location nearest to you or simply WhatsApp your order to 929-4658. You can also order Subway from Let's Eat or the Bento app, or visit our Anderson Square, Centennial Towers, West Shore Center, Industrial Park, East End, Windham, and Countryside Shopping Village. Visit Subway Cayman's Facebook and Instagram page for current store hours. Subway, eat fresh.
Good morning once again. Let's take a look at traffic. Traffic coming from the east is steady but flowing on Shamrock Road and the Linford Pearson Highway. Some sections of Cool Road busy, other sections steady traffic. On the West Bay Road in front of the Ritz, traffic heading to Georgetown is steady but flowing, and moderate flow of traffic coming from Georgetown to West Bay on the West Bay Road. Coming from the West Bay four-way stop, light to moderate traffic flow, and traffic flowing pretty good on Godfrey Dixon Way in Eastern Avenue, and moderate flow of traffic on Edward Street. Coming off of Bobby Thompson Way, traffic steady but flowing. That's the very latest on your traffic. Join us again at about 10 minutes after 12. We'll give you another traffic outlook. Have a good morning and click it or ticket.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
Your Radio Cayman 6 p.m. news, Monday through Friday, is brought to you by Logic. Your life connected.
As the community continues to take precautions from COVID-19, it is important to stay prepared for other disasters now that we're in the hurricane season. Here are some post-hurricane safety tips from the Department of Environmental Health. Some tinned food items may still be safe for consumption after contact with flood water. However, tins must then be immersed in a solution made of 2 tablespoons of chlorine bleach per gallon of water for 10 minutes. Ensure that containers are air-dried before opening. For full guidance on post-hurricane safety tips, visit www.deh.gov.ky.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters, For the Record with Orrett Connor continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We're discussing a very important topic this morning in the Cayman Islands. As a result of COVID-19, we're seeing an increase in the number of imports into the islands, despite financial strains that some people are encountering as well. But we also know that that pensions money is out there as well. So we're talking about the unprecedented increase in the number of imports received by Customs and Border Control. That conversation is taking place with the Director of Customs and Border Control, Mr. Charles Clifford, and one of his deputies, Mr. Kevin Walton. Gentlemen, I have a WhatsApp message from one of our listeners, and the person says, I have a concern that I do believe that Customs and Border Control officers can assist with. He says, I imported parts from Japan, namely control arm bushings for a vehicle that can be and was shipped by courier on the 15th of June. I was informed by FedEx agents of such and the procedures to clear package, to which I complied by filling out forms, providing all relevant documentation as required by Customs, and did appoint
an agent.
To FedEx. And FedEx responded by email that they have received everything needed to clear package, and this was from the 15th of June, and I have not received any word on such package from FedEx. Is it that Customs and Border Control is still holding on to my package? Please ask for me.
Mr. Connor, if, we want to first of all thank that listener for sending the message. If we could have the contact number for that listener, we would get in contact with him or her and look into that specific case, because we're not in a position on here to answer that question specifically. But we're happy to help. Yep.
Okay, I'm sure that person is listening. If not, I'll send a WhatsApp message back in terms of your willingness to contact them. Mr. Walton, I think I had to interrupt you to go to the 8 o'clock news. I apologize for that. We're back to where we were.
On the one important thing to say is that codes also allow you to select if you have any perishables, any medical equipment, medicines, live animals, etc. Once you select that icon pops up in our dashboard, and then we know it's an urgent shipment to clear. We will then prioritize the clearance of that particular shipment. I don't think your bicycle is going to qualify. But just bear in mind, bicycles are duty-free.
Yes.
And once once you make that declaration and it's cleared, it's just a matter of getting a notification on your dashboard, and you're able to come into our office and pay for your goods. In your case, your bicycle is duty-free, as I said. But there are some handling charges.
There are handling charges,
Yes.
and you still have to go through the full procedure in terms of the declaration and everything else.
The declaration is all online. Once you do that remotely, yes.
But what I'm saying is, even when an item is duty-free, you still have to do all of the paperwork.
Yes.
Because that becomes a part of your figures as well in terms of the number of imports and everything. You know,
Exactly.
If you were just to say to me, well, this is duty-free, hand it over to the counter to you, and that's it.
The determination of whether it's duty-free is for us to make, right? So,
yes.
So that's why the customs CBC declaration is important in all cases.
Correct. Yeah.
And it's a very smooth process. We have it well streamlined that allow customers, and I've received a lot of testimonies. We implemented the front end of our system, which is Coles, everyone knows, and that was in November 2017. And I've had testimonies that it's the best thing since sliced cheese or sliced bread. Persons could be anywhere in the world and actually sit down and do your decorations online remotely to us. Unfortunately, we didn't have the online payment ready before the COVID-19, I guess. Hindsight's 2020, right? But we were implementing our system in stages. We're doing what you call a Scrum Agile approach. We did the front-end system, and now we've just finished our in-house system, which is CIMS, Customs Information Management System.
Okay.
What we did was we built the front end, which was Coles Customs Online System, upgraded our old CTSS system to be able to process declarations in the interim while we built our new Apex system, CIMS. We just launched CIMS, started in June, and then we're phasing it in. We did have a few issues last week where Coles was down, and that was part and parcel with the upgrades that we did to Coles, because as we go along, we keep adding to Coles to make it more convenient, user-friendly, because we get requests and we work in partnership with our traders. So it was down for 2 days in July. We had some issues with it. It went down for part of the day last week. And I think one or two persons were concerned as to why we had to turn them away. But we turned them away because at the time our system was down. Nevertheless, that's been ironed out, and it's working great. Once you make your decoration online, you get that process. Sometimes your decorations are suspended, and they're suspended because incorrect tariff code, you don't have the right documents uploaded to the system, etc. When you get a suspension, you have to check your dashboard to see you keep getting your updates on your dashboard, so you'll be able to determine where your decoration is in customs. So monitor your dashboard. We are asking to be patient. As I said, individual shipments clear very quickly, but when you have consolidated shipments, we have 24 hours because it's not just one decoration. It's not just your decoration. Your decoration will be along with another 299 decorations. So we have to go through that process, and we ask for people's patience during that time. We have persons who are first-time importers. We have kiosks in our offices at the main headquarters. Downstairs, you can come, go inside. Officers will assist you in how to use our system, and we will assist you in doing that. Be mindful we're not there to teach you how to use a computer.
Exactly, yes.
And we get that far too often, and it takes up a lot of our resources to sit down and actually show someone how to use a computer. And we're getting to a stage now where we can have to divert some of those persons to brokers who would actually process those online. Be mindful, we do have the brokers who partnership with us. They know the process, they know the tariff codes, as we have a lot of tariff codes, and they can process your decorations for you as well. Even if you bring it in a single decoration, you can go to them and they'll actually do the decoration for you.
Okay.
So some people still get a bit intimidated when we talk about online services, Mr. Connor. And to Mr. Walton's point, for those people who may not have immediate access to a computer, we have those facilities available at our collection section at our main headquarters. And so those individuals who don't have access can come there to get access to a computer to upload their declarations.
Mm-hmm. So gentlemen, what do we say to those persons who believe, who think that because you have a captive audience, you must, if you're importing things into the Cayman Islands, you have to use customs and border control? What do you say to them to convince them that you have their interest at heart? What you're doing is really to make life easier for them, not simply saying, we're customs and, you have to clear it through us come hell or high water. Mm-hmm. Obviously, based on what you've spoken about in terms of the things that you're implementing, you're really being customer focused.
Right. And we've been that way for a while. The customer service aspect of our business is critically important to us. And so what we're doing with this new online system is trying to make it easier for our customers, while at the same time maintaining our ability to effectively discharge our responsibilities under the law. And I just wanted to remind the public again and the listening audience that is basically twofold. So we have a responsibility to protect and collect government's revenue, but we also have a responsibility to protect our borders in terms of ensuring that firearms, drugs, and other contraband are not allowed to come in via these imports. So those are dual responsibilities, and those are responsibilities that we take very seriously. But at the same time, we are trying our best with this system to make sure that it is customer focused and much easier for the customers. And the fact that you can now sit in the comfort of your own home or your office and actually make your declaration speaks to that. The next step in this process, of course, is giving you the ability to pay online. And Mr. Walton has already spoken to that issue. Perhaps he can give us a little more indication as to when we're going to roll that out. But I wanted to take the opportunity at this stage as well to commend Deputy Director Kevin Walton on his leadership on this project, because from its inception, he has been leading the IT upgrade project that we have within CBC. And he's done a very good job in terms of the phased approach. And I think as we continue through this phased approach, people realize the benefits of this new system.
And thank you, Director, for acknowledging that. We have a very good team in-house. We actually have officers who are very versed in IT, and they work tirelessly on this project. And we have a committee set up that not just customs, we also have CSD, and we have internal audit as a part of that, and we have other persons within CBC, and we have our developers, and we work together as a team to develop. In addition to that, there's a lot of training behind this, and we have our code support unit, which officers actually offer that support. But just to add to the director, when we were talking about for CBC doing business with us, it's more beneficial for CBC to have compliant traders. So we encourage compliance. We work with, in partnership with our traders, especially our brokers, to bring them to the level of compliance that is necessary in order for us to make our jobs a lot easier, so that we can focus on those ones who are trying to be deviant and trying to smuggle as well. So we work on a daily basis what we call compliance management. And we have an intelligence-led risk management approach, but it's coupled with compliance management. And having those two methodologies, which are international best practices, allows us to be able to streamline our processes and avoid us from having to, put too much energy into it. Because if we can exclude 95% of our traders and just focus on 5, it would be really
exactly. Yeah.
It would be unique. And it is a Scrum Agile approach that we have taken, and eventually, when we get to the online payment, as the director said, we are now in that phase. It starts in July, and it runs for 3 months, and we are hoping to have that in place. But even to the online payments are going to be phased. you could do the debit card, credit card payments online, but your EFT, which is your electronic fund transfer, which you could do from bank to bank, is a bit more complicated than that because it don't directly come to CBC. So we have to work on our internal government processes as it relates to reconciliation of those payments using bank-to-bank transfer. In addition to that, be mindful it's not like a work permit where you deliver your work permit today, you do your EFT. It takes about a month or so to do your work permit process. By that time, the works, for example, have the time to go and reconcile and get that work permit and get the fees transferred. However, with customs, you make your payment, you want your goods. So we have to work out those internal processes in order to ensure that an EFT, which is electronic funds transfer, will be offered especially, and we have worked around that where we see persons with bonds and bank guarantees with us, that we could actually use your EFT, make your payment, but you still get your goods the same day because you have a bond or a bank guarantee with us.
Okay, we're going to take a commercial break. We're keeping you gentlemen an extra 15 minutes because you lost some time when we did the news and still some important things to talk about. When we return, I'd like you to, at some point in time, talk about the fact that with COVID-19, we're likely to see more and more changes. We're likely to see more social distancing. And then, of course, Christmas is coming around the corner as well. Depending on the travel situation, that I'm sure will have an impact. If people don't have the ability to travel, then more than likely you're going to see more and more imports taking place as well. Those families that would normally go away and do their Thanksgiving shopping, Christmas shopping, taking advantage of all those sales and opportunities, it's going to change the face of what you do in the Cayman Islands. We'd like you to talk about that as well. Folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
The Toyotathon 2020 event is going on now at Vamped Motors. Get our lowest prices of the year on a great selection of our most popular Toyotas with big savings on the new CHR Hybrid, the 7-seater Rush, the adventurous RAV4, the rugged Hilux truck, and more. You can drive home an amazing deal. Save up to $5,000. Take the full discount, get cash back, upgrade your vehicle with your savings. It's all your choice during our huge Toyotathon sales event going on through July. Don't miss out. Come to Vamped Motors for your new Toyota. Let's go places.
Recent worldwide events bring into focus the need for quality health care. Your life is meaningful. Your health is no laughing matter. Cayman Pharmacy Group strives to make your health their concern. Recognizing the complexities of pharmaceuticals and the need to personalize your care with one-on-one counseling. West Bay Pharmacy, Savannah Pharmacy, and CTMH Doctors Hospital Pharmacy. Convenient quality care is just around the corner. Visit CaymanPharmacy.com for more information. Cayman Pharmacy Group, taking care of your health.
At Seaboard Marine, customers often ask us questions about their shipments.
I have various items coming from different suppliers that I need to ship to Cayman. Do you offer consolidation?
Yes, Seaboard Marine offers consolidation for full and less than container loads. We can hold your packages at our Miami warehouse until everything arrives and ship it all in one go. And we have the best rates to Grand Cayman. Visit seaboardmarine.com for more information.
Shipping shore to shore, Seaboard.
You've spent a lot of time with your kitchen appliances lately. Did you realize just how old or out of date they really are? If you're thinking of upgrading or replacing your old kitchen appliances, there is only one place to go: Brand Source Home Gallery. They're having a 15% off sale on GE appliances this month. That's right, save 15% off on all GE appliances now through the end of July. You will love the savings and the look of your fresh new appliances from Brand Source Home Gallery in Industrial Park on Dorsey Drive. Call 623-5000 for more information.
Shaken yet standing firm.
I was not built to break.
This is Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
System 1 loaded. 1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record.
This is For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We're on the final leg of this segment of the show with the Director of Customs and Border Control, Mr. Charles Clifford, and his Deputy, Mr. Kevin Walton. So, gentlemen, if you think it's busy now, come November and December, and depending on what the travel situation is like, and one of our main trading partners, the United States, we see situation not improving there, but getting worse. And then even closer to home, Florida, South Florida, where we have such a close connection, travel, as well as shipping, things could get even busier.
Yeah, certainly, certainly, Mr. Connor, that is very true. And you know that since the airport is closed, other than for repatriation and emergency flights, we have redeployed those officers to other duties. So they some of them were working with the police during the height of the COVID-19 crisis. And since that time, we've redeployed some of them to the trade and revenue portfolio to assist with this unprecedented level of imports.
Right.
So we'll continue to make adjustments like that as we go along and redeploy resources where we need to. But you're also aware that we're still very much in this transition with the merger between the former Customs Department and the former Immigration Department. And so what we've also done during this sort of downtime while the airport is closed is to undertake some cross-training, because that was part of our strategy in terms of completing this multi-year merger project. So, for instance, the former immigration officers would need to be cross-trained in customs procedures and customs laws, and vice versa. The former immigration law officers would need to be cross-trained in customs procedures.
Right.
So we've been undertaking some of that as well while the airport has been shut down.
Okay.
But certainly, because of the unprecedented level of imports, we have deployed additional resources in those areas, because I know that was one of the questions that had come on social media, I think, or one of the suggestions, I should say, on social media from members of the public.
Yes.
So it's going to get busier. There's no question about that towards the end of the year. We're prepared for that. We don't know exactly what's going to happen at this point in terms of reopening our borders. That is a very complex issue, as you've heard the Premier and the Governor speak about. But all parties are working together to see how best we can achieve that as quickly as we can achieve it without negatively impacting the health of the nation.
Now, Mr. Walton, you spoke extensively about third-party importers, the importers, the brokers here in the Cayman Islands. Again, before we finish, can you say what they can do collectively and individually to make the process, make things go much smoother, as well as individual importers, how they can assist themselves and make life easy, for them. And again, also go over the fact that there are times when brokers are saying your goods are with customs, when in fact they're not with customs, and whether or not a person has the ability to be able to verify what the customs broker is telling them.
Yes, I mean, in addition to CBC resources being impacted, the courier resources have been impacted as well. They're trying to meet this demand. So I would imagine that they're getting additional resources, and we encourage them to get additional resources if they're even temporary additional resources to ensure that they can meet the demand at this current time. It's very important that they keep their bonds topped up with CBC. You don't let it go over the bond. Well, actually, our system is going to start stopping any imports from coming, any declarations from coming in once it gets to that level. And that's the new feature in our system that's going to soon be happening. So preparing themselves to be more financially viable in order to deal with this large amount of imports coming in. I think some of them have found some challenges with that. So having themselves in a position where they can meet and pay their import duties before they actually deliver the goods to the persons will help in the system. In addition to that, they need to cross-train and continue to train their staff on what is required, because in addition to the technology, there's an underlying factor to decoration, and that's the customs tariff law, which is almost 6,000 codes. And those codes have to be properly applied. The good thing about it is that the brokers, and this is what we have done for them, for the couriers, what we have done for them, what we call exceptional imports. They're allowed they could use certain tariff codes. So they pick and select those. It makes it more efficient for them. But training their staff, letting their staff understand what is the requirements of CBC is very important to them. For the customer, and I said it the last time I was on a talk show, find out, ask questions. Find out from your broker, do they have a customs bond? How many staff members they have? Are their staff trained up and understand the customs system in order for them to make a judgment on, should I use this particular broker service or should I use this particular courier to bring my goods in? Because that's very essential. As well as our system, we have what you call a wizard, and then we have an XML upload. A wizard is for you individually to go in and key in your shipment quite easily. But it's manual where you key it in. Then we have the XML, which is built for large importers like supermarkets, and I must say that most of the supermarkets have this, as well as some of the couriers, that you just actually get grab your decorations from your system and automatically upload them to our system. It's quick, it's easy. But some don't have that. Some consolidators don't have that. Some brokers are still working through getting that. And it slows the process down if you got to sit down there and key in 300 imports rather than you having an automatic upload to our system. So that's the next question for the importers to ask their broker or courier. But as the importer, you also have responsibilities. You have the responsibility of appointing your custom broker or your courier. And don't wait till your goods get here and then try to get that appointment done. Be proactive. You know you're shipping stuff from Amazon. You paid today, it's coming next week. To your appointment of agent, to your specific broker or courier, appoint those persons agent. Even provide them with your invoices. Be proactive. Give them invoices and let them know that this is coming. It's very important that you work in partnership with your agents.
And are they regulated in any way by legislation in the Cayman Islands?
Business license. and I must say we have had some discussions of that. In most regions they are. Because it's very important for them to be able to operate efficiently and provide the service and remain consistent with their processes and customs and border control. And most jurisdiction, they're licensed. And we're exploring that possibility as well here so that we can regulate them.
Okay. So if you remember, when we created this agency, we spoke about legislation and the need to update it as we move through the merger project, which, as I said earlier, is a multi-year project. So the issue that you just mentioned, the question you just asked, is part of that process, and we will look to integrate that into any legislative changes that are coming forward.
Okay. I want to give both of you gentlemen an opportunity for some closing comments as well. We'll start with you, Mr. Walton, and then your boss will have the final say.
I just wanted to, elaborate to the listening public that CBC, we are here to serve the public, and we will do whatever that we have possible to do so. But as well as there is responsibilities for the importers themselves. They have to become compliant with us. They have to work in partnership with us as well, and I'm including the couriers and brokers in that. And that, our objective is not to to slow your goods from being delivered to you. It's more beneficial to us to have compliant traders. It's our job to balance facilitation and control, but at the same time we have to protect the borders and ask that you be proactive, you provide the necessary information to your broker or on your declarations to customs. If you need any assistance, we're here. Come into our offices and we will show you how to use our system if necessary. And to be mindful that, there is an offense under the customs law called evading of custom duties. And we discourage anyone to try to misrepresent or omit any value of their goods. We ask that you be compliant with us so that would avoid, because we use what you call an intelligence-led risk management approach, which places you in categories of high, medium, and low. You want to remain in that low risk. You don't want to get into that. Medium risk is not so bad, but when you get in the high, it's going to slow down your processes.
You'll be scrutinized.
Yes,
yeah,
absolutely
scrutinized.
Yeah. Mr. Clifford?
Mr. Connor, thank you very much for having us on this morning, and I want to thank the listeners and those who called in or sent messages. The information and feedback is important to us, and to the extent that we can assist a customer with any issues they're having, we're happy to do that. We hope that we've been able to share very useful information with your listeners this morning that will help them to speed up the release of their items. But again, we wanted to underscore the fact that we are in this period now where we've seen an unprecedented level of imports, and we've explained the reasons why that is so. We're putting all the resources that we can behind that to assist everyone with the timely release of their goods, and we continue to work really closely with our business partners, our companies, freight forwarders, couriers, to make sure that we're all working in concert to make the system as efficient as possible. So again, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much for being here, and I'll give you my feedback when I deal with Cayman Airways in customs with the bike wheels.
Happy to have that too.
Folks, please stay tuned. When we return, we will be having a discussion with persons from the Family Resource Unit. We'll be talking about one person, Miles Ruby, and we will be talking about the parenting webinar as well. So please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
Fidelity Bank would like to thank all essential workers. We salute your efforts and thank you for the sacrifices you've made to keep us all safe. During these challenging times we're facing, our top priority is the health and safety of the communities we serve. And while it's true that things are changing rapidly every day, one thing that will never change is our commitment to giving you the best and sound financial solutions to help you during and after the coronavirus pandemic. At Fidelity Bank, our focus will always be you. Fidelity, we're good for you.
Recent worldwide events bring into focus the need for quality health care. Your life is meaningful. Your health is no laughing matter. Cayman Pharmacy Group strives to make your health their concern. Recognizing the complexities of pharmaceuticals and the need to personalize your care with one-on-one counseling. West Bay Pharmacy, Savannah Pharmacy, and CTMH Doctors Hospital Pharmacy. Convenient quality care is just around the corner. Visit CaymanPharmacy.com for more information. Cayman Pharmacy Group, taking care of your health.
Dear parents and guardians, we deeply care about our students and understand the challenges you may now face during these unprecedented times.
We want you to know that we are committed to ensuring that your child's education continues.
And that you are not alone. We are doing everything we can to make sure no child is left behind.
But to do so, we need your help to get connected and stay connected with you and your child. So, reach out to us and speak with us
about how we can best support you and your needs. Working hand in hand with you is the only way to secure our children's future. We are in this together.
A message from the CIFEC, Clifton Hunter, John Gray, Lehman E. Scott High Schools, and the Lighthouse School.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matters. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. That was a good conversation with representatives from Customs and Border Control, Mr. Charles Clifford, the Director and one of his deputies, Mr. Kevin Walton, as well. And I hope and I trust that our listeners took everything into account. At some point in time, I'm sure that you will go through the experience of importing something into the Cayman Islands, especially if you find that your ability to travel is restricted because of the COVID-19 situation. There are other challenges as well. One of those challenges has to do with parenting as well. Of course, this time of the year, we would normally be, it would be summer school. So school would be out, but there have been parenting challenges when schools were closed due to COVID-19, and we will see what happens after. We know that we've lost the remainder of the school year here in the Cayman Islands. That is the school year, not the calendar year, but the school year, and we wait to see what will happen next as well. So we're going to talk about the parenting webinar, and that conversation is going to take place with Miles Ruby. Good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Thank you so much for having me.
Tell us about your parenting webinar. We know that we've spoken to Ms. Charmaine Miller and others about other webinars that are taking place. Tell us about this specific one.
Absolutely. This webinar is part of a webinar series that we're having, and this is the 5th out of 6, and we are this week going to be talking about parenting your teen during COVID-19, and we're going to be giving a few pointers on how to help you better understand what your teenager is coping with and how you can all work together through these challenging times and these uncertain times. We've had a lot of changes throughout the last few months, and especially now with summer here and with the new suppression levels, it's important to understand how your teen may have experienced the pandemic and the social isolation, what kind of things you can do as far as helping to understand your teen better, not just during a pandemic, but overall. It's already difficult to navigate adolescence without a pandemic.
That generational gap, yes.
Exactly. But, I want to share, myself and Renee Ebanks will be hosting the webinar on Wednesday, this Wednesday, the 15th, at 4:30, and you can register by emailing frc@gov.ky, or you can call us at 949-0006, and we want to share some tips and tools and strategies that will give parents some pointers and some ideas on understanding their teen, first of all, and giving them some experience as far as how do you talk to your teen, how to be flexible, how to collaborate with them, and respecting where they are developmentally, especially their independence, and for them to understand the pandemic itself and the seriousness of it. As we know, teens tend to feel that they are 6 feet tall and bulletproof, and most likely they won't get COVID-19. However, it's not about them. It's about their grandmother, their sibling or family member who might be at risk because they have an autoimmune disease or something like that. So it's about having a different perspective, too, as how we talk to our teens and cutting each other some slack and how to spend some time with them and connect with them. I always say it's important to connect before we correct. And so often with teenagers, we feel they're pushing away, but what they need more than anything right now is that open forum, that door to say, hey, I'm here to talk, but I don't want to give you the Spanish Inquisition either. So finding that balance can be tricky, especially with teens. And I've raised 3, and I know the balance and the difficulty of maneuvering through those difficult times, and to understand too, what's is this moodiness or is this depression? What's normal for a teenage's behavior and what is not, so that you know when to intervene and when to step in and get them the help that they may need, especially after what we've all been through. We've all had a difficult time, not just our teenagers. And as parents, we've had to struggle with working remotely from home and being teachers and organizing everything else in our daily lives. And so often our teens and children pick up on our energy and how we solve problems. So it's very important that we be that role model for them and keep that empathy and patience and respecting their independence and validating their feelings. So often most kids, including teenagers, just need to know that what they're feeling is normal. And so if we can normalize it, say, hey, you know what, I was nervous about going back to the office too. And just like a lot of our kids are nervous about the one-on-one interaction again. There's some anxiety, there's some irritability, there's a lot of different emotions they may have experienced that they don't understand. So as a parent, we can help guide them and help them understand it and normalize it so they can process it and move forward. And as we move forward with the different levels of suppression, it's important to educate them on the guidelines and what is okay and what isn't, and to quiz them and to give them opportunities to tell us, hey, you know, what's your plan if your friends do this, and you know that's not, you know, that is against the rules, so what is your plan? So giving them opportunities to problem solve and those type things. So we're going to be talking about a lot of different things, including eating together and how important their sleep is and how important it is to be flexible with them and spend some real quality one-on-one time with them.
Okay. Have you already dealt with the educational challenges? And of course, we see some of those teens may be preparing or anticipating going off to, island to university, and those plans may have to change based on what decisions some governments take. Have you been focusing on that as well? And tell us about that.
Well, we have done a webinar on, you know, how to deal with working from home and remotely working from home and remote learning, and we did a webinar on that, and it's on our website, frc.gov.ky, and we have a whole series of those webinars recorded under our resources page that parents have free access to and can pick and choose which one will fit their needs. We talk about scheduling, we talk about routines, which is so important right now with our children. We need that structure and that direction in order to feel safe and to lower anxiety. So we've talked about a lot of different subjects. We've talked about the last 2 weeks. We were talking about how to develop healthy screen time, and we also have been talking about, next week we'll be talking about family budgeting in times of financial crisis. We've talked about parenting toddlers and infants during COVID-19. We've covered a lot of different topics so that those resources on our webpage are available to people, and it's also on our Facebook page. So they can look at our social media pages or our website to gain access to those free resources.
Okay. We still have about 2 minutes, a minute and a half before we go to our headline news at 9 o'clock. Anything you can say in 1.5 minutes before we take our break? Of course, we'll be coming back after the 9 o'clock headline news as well.
Sure. I would just ask them, to go to our webpage or our Facebook page to register for the webinar. It is free. There is anonymity, so people can also enjoy the content without having to expose any confidentiality or anything like that. So some people aren't familiar with the Zoom process or the webinar process, and that way, if they aren't, they can always go back and to our website and watch the recorded sessions. And we've had guest speakers too that specialize in different areas, such as education, so they can also reap those benefits as well.
Okay. We're going to take the break for headline news. When we return, Ms. Ruby, I'd like you to also give us some information in relation to the type of feedback and participation that you're getting. At one time, the tendency in the Cayman Islands was, people had a tendency to say, oh, it's a problem, I'll solve it myself. As life continues to become more and more complicated, we discover that we can't always solve things ourselves, and we have to rely on the experts. We have to rely on counseling. Sometimes, people seem to reject that. I want you to focus and talk about the responses that you're getting in relation to those webinars as well. So, folks.
Absolutely.
So, folks, please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back immediately after headline news.
Radio Cayman, maintaining the innovation.
On a daily basis, making it easy to connect with you, our listeners. Add us to WhatsApp today, 925-3261. That's 925-3261.
Radio Cayman.
Send a text or voice note.
Can I send a request, please?
You don't really have to ask us. Just send a request.
This is a shout out to my ex.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
Radio Cayman, maintaining the innovation.
You are listening to Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
Follow Radio Cayman on Twitter. All the latest information, breaking news, community events, and more. Follow us at twitter.com/Radio Cayman.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman.
It's only 2 species that we have here on the island.
Your voice, your choice.
It is in the best interest of the people of these islands.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
Customs and Border Control received a record-breaking amount of imported goods during the month of June, topping out at 18,000 individual imports. This was 5,000 more than the previous month, placing, quote, a great strain on CBC resources as well as couriers and consolidated agents. As a result, CBC has deployed additional officers to manage the increase. Coronavirus immunity may only last for months, according to a new study by King's College London. More than 230,000 virus cases were recorded on Sunday, a global record, according to the World Health Organization. Most new cases were in the Americas, followed by Southeast Asia. Mexico now has the 4th most virus deaths, passing Italy. In England, nail bars, beauty salons, spas, and tattoo parlors can reopen as of today. The Palestinian Authority has imposed a new curfew on the West Bank. Globally, there have been 12.9 million confirmed cases of COVID-19 since the outbreak began, with 568,000 deaths. Those are your headlines. I'm Carsley Fuller.
For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
Your voice, your choice, your radio.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We're talking with Ms. Miles Ruby. The discussion is about the upcoming parenting webinar. It takes place on the 15th of July, 4:30 p.m. I think I got that right, Ms. Ruby?
Right. Yes, you did.
Okay.
So I wanted to speak to you about what you asked about the feedback and participation in accessing our services since COVID-19 and all the lockdown started. We have seen from a doubling to a tripling of accessing our services, from parenting struggles to anxiety to it's just been a lot of issues that people feel like they can't handle by themselves anymore. And I always say it takes more strength to ask for help than to not, because we've always find with our clients that, coming through that door that first time is usually the hardest. But once you come through those doors, you realize that you're not alone, that you have that support, that we have your back, and you don't need to try to carry the burden of the whole world on your shoulders. There's only, we all are human, and there's only so much we can handle, and sometimes we need some help and some parenting tools or tips to help us maneuver through these uncertain and challenging times. This is something none of us have ever lived through.
Yes.
And so it's sometimes this understanding that what you're experiencing is the same as others, and you feel that you're not so alone. It can be very, validating, and knowing that, it's not just me, because I feel that our parents have expected to be perfect. Be the perfect employee, be the perfect parent, be the perfect spouse, and still keep the house together. And so something has to give. And so sometimes if they just learn a few tips or tools, just tweaking some of their language or how they respond to a situation can totally change the outcome to be a more positive one. And it's not rocket science, it's not a magic wand, but it is something that we find our parents are finding very helpful. And we've found that people from all over the world are accessing our webinars on our website. Wow. From Europe, Canada, the UK, as far as the Gaza Strip. It's really interesting who is looking for resources.
That's
and
amazing,
finding
yes.
us. Absolutely. So there have been some silver linings that we've been able to reach people all over the world, not just Cayman, but we have had a very good attendance in the very beginning of COVID-19, and even after things have started loosening up and the restrictions have been eased and people are getting back to a sense of normalcy. They may not be accessing the live webinar, but they are accessing it after the fact when it's convenient for them. So we're very fortunate we're able to record them and have them available. Sometimes you might need to watch it one or two times to grasp everything, or you might hear something that you didn't hear before. So sometimes going back to a webinar helps you hear something that might help you in today's circumstance that maybe you hadn't thought about before. I find that the webinars are very easy to follow. They're only an hour, and we have a Q&A at the end, which includes the hour. So we don't want to take up too much of people's time because we know time is very valuable and we want to respect it. So whether they can join us live or watch it after the fact, we want them to be able to have access to those resources. And we use a lot of different resources from, UNICEF to the Mayo Clinic to we gain our resources that are from reputable evidence-based entities so that we know that what we're offering and what we're suggesting or recommending are worthwhile and helpful to our parents.
Right. And tried and tested as well, right? Huh?
Absolutely, tried and tested, evidence-based. We want to give our parents actual tools and tips, things that you can actually do at the moment, because right now, just talking about it and not having something what we call a parenting tool belt where you can try different strategies for different things, then it's harder to parent if you don't have a lot of tools in your parenting tool belt. So as parent coaches and program facilitators, we try to give our parents as many parenting tools as possible so that, well, if this tool didn't work, I can try another one. Because I always tell my clients that if all you have in your parenting tool belt is a hammer, you will adjust every problem like it's a nail. So we need something more than just one thing in there. We need to have a lot of different ideas and be flexible and creative, and that's what we're here for. We're here to give them those resources so they don't have to go searching all over the web for those. We're here and we're free. All our resources here at the Family Resource Center are free, and we do individual parenting if people like to get some more individual-based coaching from us. We also have groups, but the webinar itself is just a great resource to start a process and to try some ideas that might help you understand your teen. Sometimes if we just change our perspective and our expectation, it can lower anxiety and lower the conflict. And so with our teens particularly, if we can change our lens and view their behavior through a lens of curiosity versus judgment and get curious about their behavior what they're doing or saying, then perhaps we will approach them differently. I read an article where a doctor was talking about how when our children are sick and they don't feel well and they have a fever, we approach them with a lot more compassion. We have a lot more tolerance for them. Yes. And when we think about what we've all gone through, this pandemic, it's almost like an illness we've all had, not directly but indirectly. And so if we look at our children's behavior through that lens, their behavior are symptoms. The cause is what we've all been through. We may approach them with more compassion and empathy and tolerance and curiosity versus they're just being difficult or they're being feisty or they're just being rude or defiant. Usually we always say behavior is communication, and if we just focus on the behavior and not what's causing the behavior, then we're focusing on the wrong thing.
Yes.
If we tend to, because we're not comfortable with their sass or the rolling of the eyes or whatever it may be. But, what we need to find out is get curious, what's behind that? What's driving that behavior? And if we can help the parent look at that, then a lot of times you don't have the behavior once you find the root and of what's causing it. So behavior is a symptom, so what's driving that behavior?
Okay.
What we tend to look at.
Now, this webinar, is this your final one, or are there?
You have one left of the series of 6. This is our second series.
Okay.
We've had another series that we started after the lockdown, and dealing with the relevant issues at that time.
Yes.
Our next webinar is after this week. Next week, Wednesday at 4:30, and dealing with financial, budgeting during financial crisis, because we know a lot of people are dealing with that. So we want to offer some help in that area.
Okay. Any dealing with financial crises, but are there any plans? Because we're seeing now persons receiving the benefits, from their pensions. In our previous discussion, there is speculation that the level of imports, the increase in the level of imports in the Cayman Islands has a lot to do with persons having access to their pensions. Words of caution have been issued to say to people, if you have to spend it wisely. If you don't need it, maybe you shouldn't touch it. If you do touch it, put it someplace that is safe so that when there are financial challenges, it will be there, for you. Any plans on designing some type of webinar, some type of discussion for those persons who now have the benefit of their pensions? Because it's a situation that you would want to address now rather than when they find themselves in difficulties later on.
Absolutely. And when we do have that webinar next week on family budgeting in times of financial crisis, we will be talking about that and how to maximize that benefit. Putting it someplace that's hard to get to, kind of as a nest egg. I know some people withdrew their pension and put it somewhere where it can, draw more
interest.
And just, hold it there just for, a rainy day if something should happen. What if, I do lose my job, right? I have something there. But being disciplined, it can be difficult when we're hungry and we're not informed or educated. And so having a plan, and that's what they will talk about. How do we budget this? And Brenda Dawkins will be leading that, one of our program facilitators. So it will be definitely addressed. It's not our expertise, but we want to give families some guidance and give them a starting place, kind of a springboard, and to start thinking about those things and not just react, not to have a knee-jerk reaction, but to plan and prepare and be smart about their money and not to regret it later, from overspending.
Okay. Ms. Ruby, we're going to take another commercial break. We're going to keep you on the line. We're going to continue this discussion immediately after this short commercial break. So, folks, please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
We all know there's nothing more refreshing than the taste of an ice-cold Coca-Cola straight from the cooler.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling.
Whether it's celebrating a birthday, promotion, or just a great meal, make each moment a Coca-Cola moment.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling.
Available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga Distributors. Make sure you ask for the unforgettable flavor of a classic Coca-Cola.
Fidelity Bank would like to thank all essential workers. We salute your efforts and thank you for the sacrifices you've made to keep us all safe. During these challenging times we're facing, our top priority is the health and safety of the communities we serve. And while it's true that things are changing rapidly every day, one thing that will never change is our commitment to giving you the best and sound financial solutions to help you during and after the coronavirus pandemic. At Fidelity Bank, our focus will always be you. Fidelity, we're good for you.
You've spent a lot of time with your kitchen appliances lately. Did you realize just how old or out of date they really are? If you're thinking of upgrading or replacing your old kitchen appliances, there is only one place to go: Brand Source Home Gallery. They're having a 15% off sale on GE appliances this month. That's right, save 15% off on all GE appliances now through the end of July. You will love the savings and the look of your fresh new appliances from Brand Source Home Gallery in Industrial Park on Dorsey Drive. Call 623-5000 for more information.
Oh, Cayman moon.
The voice of the Cayman Islands, Radio Cayman.
Shining down from above.
We love our listeners.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We're talking about the upcoming parenting webinar. That conversation is taking place with Ms. Miles Ruby from the Family Resource Center. Ms. Ruby, back to you.
Thank you. Yes, like I said, we're having our webinar this Wednesday, the 15th at 4:30. You can register by either calling us at 949-0006, and we can give you the registration information. It is a Zoom webinar. You can also go to our webpage, frc.gov.ky, to register. Mm-hmm. And we really want to encourage those parents with teens to join in on and with us, as we're going to have a lot of good pointers and tips on how to basically better understand what your teen is coping with, mm-hmm. and how they cope, and how you can work together through this time.
And those participants, they get an opportunity to share their experiences as well?
Well, they will be able to. We have a Q&A at the end, mm-hmm. and so they will be able to ask specific questions. What do I do in this scenario, mm-hmm. or mm-hmm. how do I handle this? Mm-hmm. And so we will be there to answer those questions at the end of the webinar. Excuse me. And also, if they'd like to get, more information, they can always call us at 949-0006 and start that process of getting some individualized parent coaching. I am a certified parenting coach, okay. So that's another service we offer. Like I said, all our services are free, including the webinars. And, we just want parents to know that we are here, you're not alone, mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. that we have their back, and that we have the expertise and the resources to help them navigate through these challenging times, especially with their teenager, which is difficult already when you don't throw in a pandemic. So how can we work together to make the best of this and to come through this in a positive way, and not have damaged relationships or have more crisis or more conflict. And so this is a very good opportunity, really, to use the time and the strategies and tips that we'll be sharing to improve your relationship with your teen, to open up those lines of communication, to understand what they're going through, and to guide them through your actions, and by modeling how to handle anxiety, how to handle isolation or frustration or uncertainty. Mm-hmm. Because like you said, a lot of these teens, they're not sure what the future holds for them, right. What it's going to look like, and that's very scary. And so what we might be seeing in behavior maybe they're not sleeping well, or they're not eating well, or it could be the root. Again, if we don't focus on the behavior, but what's causing it could be the anxiety of their future. We help them deal with that anxiety so that they can get back to eating and sleeping normally, and to feeling happy, and to feeling hopeful, right? We all need hope in this world. And so how can we help them navigate these big emotions that they're feeling but don't know what to do with?
Mm-hmm. Can we speak to single parenting as well? Any focus in that area?
In our previous webinars, I know I'm bridging a lot back to our webinars that we've done. We've put a lot of time into how to handle parenting, infants and toddlers, especially if you're a single parent, and especially if you are working remotely and had to help your child with school. It's definitely a lot more challenging. And I have several parent coaching clients that I work with that are single parents, and their challenges are unique versus a two-parent home. Yes. And so, those strategies and those tips may look a little different. And so that's why it's so important that they have that support and they have that resource to go to, because they've been so alone and so isolated, and some have more support than others. And now with things opening up, I have seen an increase in relief and behaviors not escalating as much. We have seen an increase in children's behaviors, of course, during the lockdown and all the suppression levels. However, since things have started opening up and the kids are playing again and we're socializing again, we're all much happier. But there's still some residual things that we might need to deal with from the effects of being, cooped up in the house together for 3.5 months. Yes, that's not normal. So how do we recover from that, right? And move forward in a positive way with some tips and strategies that will help you. Maybe if you've had maybe in the relationship you've had with your child, if it's been damaged a little bit, if it's how to repair that and how to start that process, because at the end of the day, that's the most important thing. We so often focus on, you have to get this done, you need to get that done. But if we don't have that relationship, it's going to be hard to parent your child. It's going to be hard to discipline your child if they don't care what you think, if they don't value your opinion and want to, in a way, please you. So, and a lot of times teens are no different. They need us more than ever right now.
Yes.
Even though they feel like they're pushing us away, it's important that we leave the door open for them and help them know that, hey, if you can't come to me, I'll find the help for you. We've seen, like I said, an influx in the intakes in the counseling center. It's tripled, and also in parent coaching, it's definitely on the rise. And it's, like I said, they don't have to do it alone, and it's not a sign of weakness to ask for help. And if anything, most of my parent coaches said, boy, I wish I'd started this sooner. I wish I knew about you sooner. And so hopefully the webinars will help introduce people to what we do, and if they want to move forward, they can. If not, the resources are there for them. And if they want more information, they can call us at 949-0006 or email us at frc@gov.ky, and we can start that process with them.
So, Ms. Ruber, again, for the benefit of our listening and viewing audience, I give them the date of the webinar, what the focus of the webinar will be, and the contact details as well.
Okay, yes. Our webinar this Wednesday, which is part of a series of webinars, this is our 5th out of 6, is Parenting Your Teen During COVID-19, which is a nice little thing. And it will be, you need to register for that webinar, and you email us at frc@gov.ky. You can call us at 949-0006, or you can go onto our webpage, frc.gov.ky, to the Family Resource Center, go to Parenting Resources, and the webinar is there for you to register. And we would love to have you join us. Like I said, we will be taking questions at the end of the webinar to maybe help you with a specific issue that you're having with your team, and we look forward to having as many people join as they can.
Mm-hmm. And like you said, it's all in confidence as well.
Absolutely, right. The webinar, you don't see who else is there.
Right.
So, some people, their privacy is very important, and we want to respect that, and that's why we chose this format, the webinar. So you can when you ask your question, you can choose anonymous so that your name that you have for the Zoom webinar doesn't pop up. So a way to protect your identity, if that is important to you, that's definitely an option as well. So we want everyone to be as comfortable as they can to gain the information they need to help them navigate this difficult time with their teen.
Great. Okay, Ms. Ruby, I want to give you an opportunity for some closing comments, and if there's anything else that you want to mention in terms of the offerings by the Family Resource Center, please go ahead and do that as well.
Sure, thank you. Like I said, all our services are free, and we just want everyone to know that the webpage is another place to find out what is going on and to access our previous webinars that we've had, from everything how to create a routine, especially for the summer, how to parent your infant or toddler during COVID-19, and as well as this week's webinar on parenting your teen and next week's on creating a family budget during financial crisis. So we're trying to keep everything relevant so that it's useful, practical, and you can call us at 949-0006, email us at frc@gov.ky, or go to our webpage at frc.gov.ky to access those services and resources and register for our webinar. We'd love to have you in it.
Okay, Ms. Ruby, we want to wish you all the best, and we look forward to talking to you when the next webinar is to take place, the final one in this series of 6 as well. And again, for the benefit of our audience, that the 6th one will take place when?
Next Wednesday at 4:30. All our webinars are on Wednesdays at 4:30, just to keep it simple. And like I said, if they've missed any or they can't make it, they can still register, or they can access the webinars once they're uploaded on our webpage to watch at their leisure, so that they can access those resources at any time. But especially if you have a question and you want to join the conversation, this is a good opportunity to do that and get some real live time advice.
Okay. You have a great day, and all the best.
I appreciate it.
Thank you very much, folks. We're going to take a commercial break. When we return, we will have an open line for you to call in. The discussion topic will be open, whatever you want to talk about. I know there are a few things that I want to talk about as well. You would have heard me on the first segment of the show speak about Cayman Airways and the unprecedented increase in the level of cargo that is being shipped into the Cayman Islands via Cayman Airways cargo. I am told that they're averaging somewhere about 3,000 packages per day. You heard the Director of Customs and Border Control and his deputy speak about the fact that their warehouse bursting at the seams now as well. And my question would be, is Cayman Airways taking advantage of this unique opportunity? Are they reviewing their business processes to see how can they make themselves more efficient in a short period of time to take advantage of it? Because it is one thing to have 3,000 imports in packages in one day, but the next part of it is getting them distributed, getting them out there efficiently? How efficient are you with that? Have you redeployed some of your staff to concentrate on these areas where you're seeing a greater demand as well? Because while the numbers may increase, we want to see other numbers increase as well. We want to see your revenues increase. We want to see your efficiencies increase. And who knows, after COVID-19, your cargo business may continue to remain the same if people enjoy and people have a good experience dealing with you as opposed to dealing with other resources as well. So that would be my observation, and in that regard, many others as well. We will discuss those when we return from this short commercial break, so please stay tuned.
At Seaboard Marine, customers often ask us questions about their shipments.
Hi, I'm thinking of buying a car from the States. Which port do you ship out of?
Hi, we ship out of Miami, Houston, and Brooklyn. Just let us know your port of choice and we can provide you with a quotation and answer any questions you may have on insuring and protecting your vehicle during its journey.
Shipping shore to shore, Seaboard.
We all know there's nothing more refreshing than the taste of an ice-cold Coca-Cola straight from the cooler.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling.
Whether it's celebrating a birthday, promotion, or just a great meal, make each moment a Coca-Cola moment.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling.
Available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga Distributors. Make sure you ask for the unforgettable flavor of a classic Coca-Cola.
Digicel is all about giving customers more convenience, more peace of mind, and more flexibility. Do more with the new My Digicel app. Buy plans, pay your bill, track your credit, track your data, and monitor your accounts. It's easy to use and has everything you need in one place. It's time to simplify your life, so go ahead and see for yourself. Download the new My Digicel app today. More made simple.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matters. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We've concluded our discussion with our guest. So we have an open line for you. We have one caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Mr. Connor. This is Sylvia Wilkes. How are you?
Good morning. I'm fine. How are you doing?
I'm awesome, sir.
Great. And family?
They're great. They're great.
Excellent. Good to know.
The reason why I'm calling is because I was listening from earlier for the presentation from Customs. And then your current, the other presenter. Yes. I was like, that makes it more relevant for me to call. In particularly because Customs also, because they're border control, there is demand and supply, and we know because of COVID-19 there are different issues that we have in our community, and drugs being one.
Mm-hmm.
And they're on the limiting supply aspect of the demand and supply reduction in terms of our drug control. So I was like, I thought I would call at that time. But then when I heard the second presenter as it relates to parenting.
Yeah, and teenagers, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right. I thought it was even more relevant for me to call. So I'm calling to make mention of a camp that we have starting next Monday.
Okay, great. Tell us about it.
Yeah. It's a leadership and prevention camp. So we've been doing it now for about 10 years. This will be our 11th year, actually, and we deal with all the adolescent problem behaviors, drugs, violence, substance abuse. So it would be good for persons to send their kids. But we don't only deal with the issues. We have sessions on making right choices and different principles that help young people to succeed.
Mm-hmm.
Because the more assets young people have, the less likely they are to gravitate towards drugs and violence and so forth and delinquency. And as the caller said earlier, there's those issues that has heightened because anxiety and different issues. So some of our we've sent information to some of the schools So and our previous campers. So they're looking forward to coming out of their houses that they've been in for 3.5 months. But for persons who want to send their children to camp, we'll be at the Lion Center from Monday from 8:30. It's 8:30 to 3:30, and it's very cost effective. We'll be there for 4 weeks.
And
it's $75 per week.
Okay, now what are the numbers that you're able to accommodate based on the regulations that are in place now?
Right, we have a good capacity there because we have the open space, and we have the outer part of the Lion Center as well. So we're still good for our capacity, and we have our COVID-19 protocols. Kids must wear their masks each day. Just during break and lunch, obviously they would need to remove it then, but during activities, especially group activities, we always have groups because the regulations require that we put kids in bubbles, but we always have groups, so we already have that in place. All of our volunteers are being tested for COVID-19.
Okay.
We're doing our Darkness to Light training. Some teachers are already trained in Darkness to Light as well, because that's one of the requirements for our purchase agreement with government. So we're looking forward to hosting camp this year for 4 weeks. We've mostly done it for 2 weeks each year, but because we want to, do lesser, stuff at the, beginning of camp, more creative activities, to get the kids, because they're coming out of being locked down for months.
Yes.
So a lot of team building activities. We have people coming in to do workshops, music, dance, etc. So it's going to be really interesting this year with the open space that we have.
Okay. In previous years, how has the response been to these camps?
Really good. We had last year our numbers. We had 101 campers last year. So the numbers have been increasing over the years. And those because what we've also done, it's a leadership and prevention camp, so it's more about experiential leadership. Not just persons who we think are leaders, who like prefects and so forth. We're talking about children that we give an opportunity to lead, be it kids who display problem behaviors or whatever. We give them opportunities to, be actively involved. So persons who would have been to camp for 3 years or have acquired the age of 15 can come back as leaders. So it's the age is 7 to 14, but we have those, that will come back. Even if they've reached 15, to come back as leaders.
Okay. While you have all of this free time on air, I want to give you an opportunity to repeat the dates, the times, what the costs are, and what the camp involves.
Okay. So the camp is Fearless Extreme Leadership and Prevention Camp. It starts July 20th. That's next Monday. We end August 14th. The cost is $75 per week. The age is 7 to 14. You can go to our website, supportingcaymanyouth.com, for more information, or you can call me directly, 917-3885.
Okay, repeat that number again for the benefit of our audience.
917-3885.
Okay, and the age group 7 to 14?
7 to 14.
$75 per week.
Yes.
And that includes being fed, what else?
Snack, lunch, snack, all camp materials. So awesome. And we're doing activities, all the activities, sports activities, arts and crafts. It's going to be great again. 4 weeks from 2 weeks.
And again, for those persons, those parents who would have concerns about COVID-19, what do we say to them in terms of the safety and the protocols that are in place at the camp?
Yeah, the camp is set up we always have groups. So one of the requirements is that when you're doing camps, you do it in bubbles. So the kids who are in groups will be the same group throughout the entire camp.
Okay, got you.
They'll be sanitizing items. We'll have a sanitization area upon entry. We'll be taking temperature checks. Persons who visit will also be required to wear masks. The kids will be, there's a requirement for kids to wear masks throughout. We have virtual high fives and elbow greetings. No hugs.
Mm-hmm.
No hugs this year.
Will you be providing masks as well in the event that someone was to show up without?
We believe that there's a possibility of some kids that may have a challenge with that. So we've I'm reaching out to some of our politicians that have been issuing masks for support with that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm waiting their response. So we're grateful to Lions for giving us the venue.
Okay.
To utilize, because that's the most relevant, that's the best space that we could find.
Mm-hmm.
And Queensgate, as usual, every year. I'm waiting on a few other persons to respond to keep the and then Department of Children and Family Services. Every year we have a significant amount of their clients that attend the camp. So we're looking forward to doing it again this year, and keeping our kids happy.
Excellent. I want to congratulate you on that effort. I know where your heart is in relation to this, Ms. Sylvia, and again, want to thank you for all that you do for the community as well. And any final comments that you want to make?
Yeah, if you don't get a chance to go onto our website to register, just come on Monday, first thing 8:30. So we can register your child, and if you have a challenge with the fee, just come, just bring a child, and then we work something out. And the thing is, it's very intentional. The camp is very intentional. So I don't want persons to have a challenge and not come, but we'll have to work out how we facilitate, their child being able to attend. So, come Monday next, Yeah, at Lion Center.
Excellent. Ms. Sylvia, you have a great day. All the best.
You too. Thank you, Mr. Connor.
Okay. Continuing the conversation, I see where Barbados has come up with an idea, and it appears as if Bermuda may be considering it as well. Now, first of all, I want to say that some Caribbean jurisdictions like Antigua and Barbuda, as well as Jamaica, they have opened up their tourism sector. I saw in yesterday's paper, I think the Minister for Tourism in Jamaica pointed out that they had already benefited from a financial standpoint, something like 80 million Jamaican dollars towards the tourism industry after they have reopened. We hope and we trust that it is successful and that we do not see a resurgence of COVID-19 in those jurisdictions that have chosen to reopen. Now, Barbados is also considering, and this is a way to attract more persons into Barbados, that if you want to work remotely, they will offer up to a year, or looking to offer up to a year of residency in Barbados that will allow you to work remotely from Barbados. So if you're employed in some other country and you want to vacation in Barbados, but have a working vacation, that means that you're going to do the work for your company that is established elsewhere, you can do that remotely from Barbados. They're considering that. Bermuda is looking at this same thing as well. It's a very innovative way of doing things. My question, something, food for thought, would that be something that we would be interested here in the Cayman Islands in terms of doing? Bearing in mind, the person would have the ability to reside here. That means that they're going to be renting for 1-year period. We may choose 6 months. We may choose longer than that. But they're working for their company remotely, so it's not going to impact at all employment in the Cayman Islands, or it shouldn't impact employment in the Cayman Islands. We know what happens with us here in the Cayman Islands at times, though, that we take things and we water it down so much that at the end of the day, what was initially intended, we end up with something else as well, because you're likely to find some employer who knows about that person, that individual's skills. Then they're going to try to attract them. Then they're going to want to shift the goalposts right away so that it gets a little closer to them. So instead of the field being 100 feet, they want it down to 75 feet or 50 feet. They're going to want to employ the person, because we have a tendency to take things and water it down here in the Cayman Islands. It'll be interesting to see how it works in Barbados, whether or not Bermuda chooses to implement, because these countries, they do have challenges when it comes to tourism of sorts. Now, we know that Barbados, for instance, benefits from a lot of the European tourists. We probably have more British, not probably, I'm sure we have more British tourists going to Barbados than we do have coming to the Cayman Islands, as well. But they do have their challenges, and something to think about in the Cayman Islands, whether or not it is something that the government would want to consider to look at that, depending on when we do decide to open up our tourism product here in the Cayman Islands. We're going to take our last commercial break, folks. Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
At Seaboard Marine, customers often ask us questions about their shipments.
I have various items coming from different suppliers that I need to ship to Cayman. Do you offer consolidation?
Yes, Seaboard Marine offers consolidation for full and less than container loads. We can hold your packages at our Miami warehouse until everything arrives and ship it all in one go. And we have the best rates to Grand Cayman. Visit seaboardmarine.com for more information.
Shipping shore to shore,
You've spent a lot of time with your kitchen appliances lately. Did you realize just how old or out of date they really are? If you're thinking of upgrading or replacing your old kitchen appliances, there is only one place to go: Brand Source Home Gallery. They're having a 15% off sale on GE appliances this month. That's right, save 15% off on all GE appliances now through the end of July. You will love the savings and the look of your fresh new appliances from Brand Source Home Gallery in Industrial Park on Dorsey Drive. Call 623-5000 for more information.
The Toyotathon 2020 event is going on now at Vamped Motors. Get our lowest prices of the year on a great selection of our most popular Toyotas, with big savings on the new CHR Hybrid, the 7-seater Rush, the adventurous RAV4, the rugged Hilux truck, and more. You can drive home an amazing deal. Save up to $5,000. Take the full discount, get cash back, upgrade your vehicle with your savings. It's all your choice during our huge Toyotathon sales event going on through July. Don't miss out. Come to Vamped Motors for your new Toyota. Let's go places.
Radio Cayman's Business Buzz returns to the air on July 14th at 7:30 a.m. COVID-19 has impacted every business differently. Some were able to shift to remote work model, while others adjusted operations by offering curbside delivery, online services, or simply remained closed. As businesses reopen and adjust to the new normal, we here at the Business Buzz will be doing our part by featuring various business industries to keep you up to date with initiatives, developments, and topics from the local business world. Join me, Sabrina Turner, on July 14th for the Business Buzz, right here on Radio Cayman.
Headlines.
With the latest headlines.
One of Cayman's bright and shining young stars.
Local, regional, international.
Headlines.
Turning to international news. Updates on the hour between 7 a.m. and 6 p.m. on weekdays. All the news when you want it. Tune in to Radio Cayman for hourly headlines of the day's top stories.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the Record with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We have about 12 minutes left to go in the show. I believe we have a few callers. Let's take one caller. Let's take the caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning to you, Osei, and how was your weekend?
Good morning. My weekend was fine, and yours?
Very good. I first of all, I want to thank Radio Cayman and thank the good Lord for letting us see another day. Mm-hmm. And you know, without the good Lord, we're completely lost. I'm not saying that because we're this virus, but I don't call it a virus. I call it a plague. But anyway, that's another story. But I want to say that's a good idea, but that Barbados or those countries would have about people working.
Yes.
But we could adopt the same thing whenever our borders open up. But with an understanding, if they should need help, secretaries or a secretary, whatever, a Caymanian must be hired. Mm-hmm. I hope it is with that kind of understanding if we go forward for this.
But this, caller, this would be an individual. Let's say, for instance, I'm some sort of an analyst or whatever, and working individually. So it wouldn't be companies, it would be individuals who work for other companies but would normally work remotely from home.
Yes.
But would rather have be in a Caribbean country while working and vacationing for a year as well. So it wouldn't be companies per se.
Yeah, I understood that, but you know how these things go in Cayman.
Oh yeah. So like I said, yeah. And we like to change things up, somewhat. Yeah.
Exactly. Then another thing, not to keep you long because my time is limited, is that we had good rains over the weekend, and thank God for that too. And I see a lot of water on the road and the mosquitoes. Mm-hmm. My God, I was on Eastern Avenue walking on Saturday afternoon, and I had to run in some places, and this was shortly after 5 o'clock. Mm-hmm. Now I think it's Public Works or NRA that are responsible for these streams. I would like to see them get out and start cleaning these drains, not after it rains, so they can, put it in the paper that they're working in the rain and working so hard. These things need to be done. We're in a hurricane season now.
They're usually pretty proactive with that, and they do it in advance. They usually are.
Well, you should check down in West Bay, Centennial Towers, where on the road, right by Centennial Towers and other places. It drizzled, and we got about a foot of water.
Wow.
And we're driving through that for hours and hours and hours. So I haven't seen any of them. So that's the way I have to speak. Thank you for your time. Thanks, Radio Cayman. Thanks to Susan. She's always good.
Yes.
I love her music. And I love the religious music in the morning from 6 to 6:30. And you all have a great day.
Thank you very much. You stay safe as well. We have another caller. Before I take that call, I just want to talk about the bonuses, the appreciation that government is paying to some frontline personnel during the COVID-19 pandemic, and those who were really on the front line. I still haven't been able to clarify whether or not talk show hosts and the technical persons qualify for that as well. I know, for instance, Miss Susan has been out front the whole period of time. She's been in the studio every day as well, and 3 days a week for me as well. CapSec, you expect to hear from me in that. No, but I heard of a situation where person traveled from one island to the next to attend a funeral because of a family situation. So in order for them to return to the BRAC, they had to quarantine in Grand Cayman for 14 days. So they missed that period of time from work. Now, we've been dealing with COVID-19 since March. And questions are being asked, and it seems as if that person would normally qualify for the bonus that they're paying, but because they missed 14 days being in quarantine, despite the fact that they went back, as soon as they returned to the BRAC, they went back to work, and they're being told that they don't qualify for that because they missed the 14 days. Now, when heads of departments and possibly chief officers take it upon themselves to interpret these things in this way, unless the government has said that you would have had to work for a required period of time, that should not be the case. And if anyone in government is listening into this, you want to look into it, because you don't want to start being selective in terms of who you give this bonus to and who you don't. If they qualified, even if they may have missed 5 days, 10 days because of whatever, do not start to now target people as a result of that. 2 callers, and we're going to try to accommodate them before 10 o'clock. First caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I just want to run the
government. Bye. Take care. Let's grab the next caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, O.C. Peter Schmidt here.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm fine, and I hope same for yourself. I needed to call you regarding an advert that appeared in social media about a training opportunity between, I think, work and Marriott.
Okay.
For a certified front desk course. And I was reading the advert, and it said the course goes for 6 weeks, 2 days a week, from 9 to 12. So that's 6 hours a week. For 10 weeks is 60 hours. And I am really, really, really upset at this sort of thing, because it makes people believe that they're actually learning an occupation in that period of time. Because they are not going to come out of that course able to replace a permit holder that has been at the front desk, properly trained for front desk operation, reservation systems, cash, all those sort of things that one has to do at the front desk of a hospitality establishment. So why say that? Why lead people to think that after a 6-week course you have a certificate in hand and you can go out and get a job, when the employer, probably the very same employer where you did your course, will tell you, well, I'm sorry, but you're not yet sufficiently qualified.
You think that this might be a smokescreen to say, well, we did this, but we still need a work permit?
Well, listen to me. It happens all the time.
Yeah.
It is just a superficial little... I've made the effort. I've made the effort to offer training and this and that. And it's baloney. Okay, anywhere in the rest of the world. When I became a chef, it was a 3-year apprenticeship. Okay? When other people become professional certified, where they are on a world standard that they can go for a job anywhere in the world, there is training involved. And I mean extensive training. You do not learn those things overnight. So it's okay to offer the course, to give somebody a feel of what work is like at the front desk, but don't tell them it's a course where you're going to be certified as a front desk clerk, because it is wrong. And the employer will have another opportunity to turn you down in favor of somebody that he is familiar with and come from a similar background like themselves.
Yeah. My other question would be, Mr. Peter, what happened to the School for Hospitality Training? You would have thought that, if anything, they would be working through that school to find candidates for that, rather than having to publicly advertise that. It tells me, something is missing there. The optics aren't right at all.
Exactly right. And furthermore, of all the disciplines that you have in a hospitality establishment, teaching, front desk, administration, that sort of thing is probably the easiest, because there is not that much of a practical, food and beverage, for instance, or maintenance type work involved. And you are right. You're right. And you can use if Marriott Corporation or whoever is supporting this with work, then they can offer the same support by saying, we will give you our best front desk specialist for 4 days a week for a 3-hour session for 6 months. And you, the government, you might say, okay, I'll give you a 10% discount on your work permit fee, and then you have a transfer of skills, right? And that is what it takes. Okay, that is what it takes when we want to change things here, that we have Caymanians that are competitive in the industry. Let me just give you a little example. The bulk of my working life was in the airline industry.
Yep.
Do you know that Cayman has exported pilots? Cayman is exporting qualified jet pilots. They are operating in the Far East. They are operating in the Middle East and everywhere, because they were trained to a global standard. Okay,
yes.
Just like the seafarers of old used to go out and sail the 7 seas and make a living anywhere in the world, the pilots have done the same thing. So Caymanians can do it.
Yep, they definitely can.
Not that they can't, but do not play politics with the training of Caymanians, because when we're talking about changing things around to make it better the next downturn that'll hit us, that the Caymanians remain employed and the expatriates are shipped out because they're not needed, then we need to start at the bottom.
Yes. Mr. Peter, I want to thank you very much. We're past the hour of 10 o'clock. You have a great day. Please stay safe, folks. I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman, and by extension, for the record, into your homes, into your vehicles as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, wherever that may be. I also want to remind you that we are our brothers and our sisters' keepers. There is always someone out there who's less fortunate than we are, and I ask you to extend a helping hand to them. If you can't do that, then I suggest you donate to a worthy charity, because we always want to consider those who need, not necessarily those who want or even those who crave. So I say to you, have a great day. Continue to support your radio station, Radio Cayman. Join Sterling Dwayne Banks at 12:15 for Talk Today. And as usual, we ask the good Lord to bless these 3 beautiful, wonderful Cayman Islands.
For the Record is brought to you by Vamped Motors, the only authorized Ford and Toyota dealership serving the Cayman Islands. Cayman Pharmacy Group, with a location in West Bay and professional pharmacy at CTMH Doctors Hospital. The Cayman Pharmacy Group has a location for you just around the corner. Seaboard Marine, with over 35 shipping ports, find your shipping solution by calling 949-4977 or visit seaboardmarine.com for competitive rates. FIS MoneyGram, the safest and most convenient way to send money worldwide. MoneyGram, bringing you closer. Coca-Cola, available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga Distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury. And Fidelity Bank. Fidelity, we're good for you.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman.